internationally known. When I be on the mic, I'm internationally known, yo. I'm internationally known. When I be on the mic, so all hail the honorable.
Welcome to the Being Neo podcast. I am your host, Neo. That just sounds so corny. That whole welcome to the Being Neo podcast. What's up, guys? It's episode 2. We're here. Oh man, I have so much I want to talk about today. So this is the Meet the Host episode because I feel like if I were to ask ChatGPT, what should the first 10 episodes be of a new budding podcast that's going to have Alicia Keys on it? That ChatGPT would come back with something about, you should do an episode about Meet the Host. So, hey, what's up? I'm Neo, the host. All right, so as promised, we are going to start the episode with a fact. We're actually going to start with more than one fact because when I started going down this rabbit hole right before hitting record, I had a couple that I was like, hey, that's pretty interesting. So we're going to go with, and we're going to do travel facts because, traveling is kind of my thing, right now, Medellin, Colombia. I should do an episode about all of the other countries I plan on going to in 2024. We should do that. That episode's coming. I don't know when. Ooh, maybe I have some guests lined up. That would be a good episode to share with the particular guest I have in my mind. But I digress. So the fact for today. Right now, the most visited countries in the world, and this is as of December 28th, 2023, relatively relevant. Okay, so France with 89.4 million people visiting. Wow. And this is annual. Spain, 82.7 million, and then the United States with 79.6. And I think that's funny because I feel like as an American, I would always be like, oh, more people come to America than anywhere else. It's not true, though. And some of the reasons are the sanctions and what restrictions we have on what countries visiting and visas and all those things. Okay, but I didn't want to end with that. As I was going through other ones, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So Bulgarians, someone's got to fact check me on this one. I mean, I'm on the internet, so it's got to be accurate. But it says Bulgarians shake their heads from side to side to mean yes, and they nod their head up and down to say no. That, my friend, would be very confusing. Wow. Okay, and then this one is like riddle me this. I want you guys to comment on whatever platform you are listening to or watching this podcast on. And I want you to comment your answer to this question. And I want somebody to nerd out and do the math. But Monaco is smaller than Central Park in New York. Yet, nearly 1 in 3 people who live there are millionaires. Okay, so now here's the riddle. My question is, if we took all of the millionaires in New York and put them in Central Park, would there be more millionaires in Central Park than in Monaco? Play the Jeopardy music. Dun 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 dun. Let me know. What do you think? What do you think? I don't know, but someone comment. Let your boy know, because that's how my mind works. I read that and I was like, yeah, but I mean, there's Billionaires Row alone. So, I mean, I think I am going to say I believe there are more millionaires in New York. If you take all of New York State and you put those millionaires in Central Park and compare it to Monaco, I believe there are more millionaires in New York than Monaco. That's where I'm going with that. All right, so Meet the Host. Guys, right now, if you're on video, you're going to be able to see this. If you're not on video, you won't be able to see this. I'm trying to figure out the best way to show it to you. We're getting real personal here. Here's my phone. Oh, let's do this again. There's my phone. Can you see that time? Is it focused in on that? The time says 2:51. It is 2:51 in the morning, people. You know what's crazy? I hate working out at night because I can't sleep because I'm up. But then, with more context, I'm always up late. I'm always up late. I feel like I have to really force myself to go to sleep before midnight. And it's weird because when I get up, I'm up. Like I don't have a problem waking up early. I don't do it. I do not like to work out early. I will say that. I do not like doing I don't do it. I don't like doing beyond 5 a.m. before 5 a.m. Those early workouts, it's not for you, boy. I'm out. I did that from 14 years old through college. I'm not a fan. Surprisingly enough, though, I do feel like I still work overnight. I used to say I would never work the overnight shifts because I hated it. My sleep patterns were always off. But here we are, 3 a.m. What's your boy doing? Working. Um, so one of the reasons I like doing it at this time, like recording right now, when I'm recording, obviously when we do the live podcast and when I have guests on, we'll be working around their schedule. But for me, I like this point in time because I like to get my mind right to connect with you. I said in the first episode, I want to connect. I want to inspire, change, hope, new. I want to inspire you to be the new version of yourself, the best version of yourself. I want to inspire you to change your life for the better, and however that is. With that said, though, I want to do that through connecting. I want to take friends, my past hurts, pains. I want to share my heart with you. And I really like doing that when I'm relaxed. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? So for me, when during the day, I'm running. Like from the time my eyes open until right now, when I'm recording this podcast at 3 a.m., I constantly have stuff to do. When people ask me, they're like, especially here in Colombia, how someone say, "Hey, what are you doing? Are you busy? Or are you done working for the day? Or are you done working?" Any of those questions, and I'm just like, people, I'm still looking for the 25th hour of every day and the 8th day of every week. So, yeah, I have stuff to do. No, I'm not done working. Yes, I'm very busy. So like when I start talking about, yeah, we can go on a date. Do you realize I have to sacrifice time? Someone said something really stupid on a reel. I want to say it was this morning. And it was something about, I don't want them to think, their time is not as valuable as mine. What? I don't listen, people. My time is more valuable than other people's time. Your time is more valuable than other people's time. This is something that people have to understand is real. Like, if you were the president of a nation, do you think you could waste 15 minutes scrolling on Instagram? And if you say yes to that, you you should stop listening to my podcast because your mind's not there. And I don't think I'm going to be the one to help you get there. But I digress. So when I get to the end of the day, and I want to sit here and connect with you and share my heart with you and share my mind and my perspectives. And it's just me talking and it's not a guest and I'm just sharing. I want to be able to be vulnerable and transparent and open. And in order for me to do that, I want to be relaxed. So I want to walk my dog and smoke marijuana. Yes, that's what I said, marijuana. Listen, I'm a Colorado resident, okay? Denver, Colorado. So I smoke. And I want to just get here, turn the mic on, sit in front of this camera, and share openly, honestly, and without inhibition because I have to. Which brings me to my next point. The sponsor of this podcast episode is Free Your Mind Store. That's www.freeyourmind.store. I crack myself up. But if you have not already, the designs are live on the website. The link is in bio or in the description or wherever it is that you're looking at, listening, or watching this podcast to rep your piece over everything t-shirt. And some of you may be saying to yourself right now, a piece over everything t-shirt or a hoodie or a mug, but you're hesitant because you're like, I don't want to respond to the question that's going to arise from the person that is looking at me wearing this piece over everything and they're going to ask me why. And then I'm going to have to tell them, I battle depression, but right now I'm waging my war against my depression for my peace. Or, I just got divorced and I'm not really sure what the fuck I'm doing right now. So I'm searching for my peace and I'm willing to wage war to find it. Or, yeah, so everyone around me keeps dying and I'm trying to understand why it hasn't been me. because these people are far better than I have ever been, and they're not here. But I'm trying to be at peace with it. So I'm in the middle of being at war to get there. Like, whatever the thing is, I don't know. I am trying to lose weight, and it feels like a never ending battle, and everything that I'm doing is not working. And I just want to be back to my pre pregnancy weight or my whatever weight, my high school weight, my before 30 weight, my before I became a fat ass weight, like whatever. Like I'm I'm at war with my peace. So I'm trying to wage war for it because it feels like a losing battle. I don't know. I don't know what the thing is. I don't know the thing that you're fighting right now. Maybe it's because your job sucks and you're waging war to get out of bed and go to work because you need money, and that doesn't happen without working. But you're trying to create a side hustle and you don't know what side hustle or how, or I don't know. I don't know what your thing is, but yo, if I can be here at 3 a.m. to share with you the most uncomfortable aspects of my life, my perspectives, my vulnerabilities, my insecurities, my everything. You can be uncomfortable for a moment and let somebody ask you a question about why peace over everything is on the front of your shirt or mug or hoodie. Because when you answer that question for them, I promise you, they are then going to ask themselves the same question about why they don't have peace over everything on them, why they're not searching for their peace, why peace has never even been a concept they've been aware of. And with those questions and with those thoughts in people's minds, the world changes. So please help me help you. Help you help me help you. Go to the link, buy a t shirt, a mug, or a hoodie, sponsor the show, help the show, and thank you. Because I really do want to change the world. And that sounds crazy, but this is not comfortable for me. Like, I don't have to smoke to do the show. Let me just make that clear. I don't want people to think I abuse drugs. I do not. But I do want to be able to unpack some of the thoughts that are in my mind, like the Monaco fact and then Central Park and those kind of things. While I'm on the podcast, I want to be able to recall events, the feelings, the profound feelings I had when I recall these events and share those things with you. I want to share myself transparently. That said, I started smoking marijuana when I was 38. I'm 41, so not very long. And I love that I learned it so late in life because I was able to appreciate and understand the science aspect of it so that I didn't irresponsibly use it. Now, that said, I also wish I had learned the benefits and its impact on me specifically way earlier in life. I feel like it would have been so much more beneficial in college and high school for exams and studying and my work, just in so many different aspects, the same way that it helps me now. So, it is what it is, right? Lo que pasó, pasó. The things that happen have happened. But I do love the aspects of the. We say medicinal because it's really a medicinal thing, but that's really just the words used for judgmental people that feel like pot is a gateway drug, which it's not. So call it whatever you want to, but it helps me with a lot of things. That said, here, sitting in this moment, I actually I just sent my ex a message. It's actually weird. We have not spoken. We haven't spoken in years. Officially, we haven't spoken in years. But I sent her a message, and she'll she won't respond to the message. Just her actions respond to the message. Like if she saves it, if she deletes it, um, if she saved it to camera roll or saved it in chat, like the form at which whatever moments or things happen after I send a message it indicates me like her response to said message. And I'm actually not wanting to talk to her. So it works out perfectly. So I send her these random messages sometimes about things that are in my mind. And so I sent her a message yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? It might have been the day before. When you do podcast at 3 a.m., your days start getting really mixed up. But I sent her the message and I just said, hey, I really miss smoking and talking with you. Just smoking and talking. Like it was one of the most profound aspects of our relationship. And I love this because I get to smoke and talk. And so there are things that come up in my mind in aspects I start thinking about things or recalling events when I smoke that just they're just on another level. And some of you are like, this guy sounds high. I'm not, I mean, I am high, but I'm being serious. Like the reaction and response to something that's said, something that's remembered, and then how you share said thing and how you remember it and reflect on it is absolutely different when you smoke. So let's go down the rabbit hole, shall we? My thought process on this, I did not ask ChatGPT what should be on episode 2, but my thought process with this in general is I'm gonna have some friends on. Some of you are gonna think I'm an asshole to my friends, just based on the relationship I have with them. I also look forward to the different comments that are gonna come in with the just the wide range of friends I have. So there are going to be some people on here and you're going to be like, wow, that was a deep conversation. And then there's going to be other people on here and you're going to be like, how is this dude friends with them? And they're all my friends and I love them equally. So just know that I gain different things from different people, which is what we all should do, gain different things from different people. But I will continue. Let's take some water. And going through I get to sit here now and smoke and talk, going through I want to share about the host, because with some of the random conversations I'm going to have with the very random people, I don't want you guys to not understand me, like the way I communicate my formula in looking at reviewing, having the impact of life, the things I've done. And when I tell you stories, I want you to be able to have some more context behind how in the world is that possible? And I feel like if I share some details about my life, that'll help you do that. So let's go. I was born in June. I am a Gemini, baby. And I truly, honestly believe of all the zodiac signs that Geminis are 99% accurate in every meme that has ever been created regarding Geminis. I'm not even joking. 99%. I have never met a Gemini that I couldn't be friends with, though I have met some Geminis I considered weird. Um, seriously, seriously. And it always blows my mind because I'm always like, what happened to you? How did you not become an actual Gemini? Like, what went wrong? I'm not even joking. Those are the questions I ask myself. So, in either case, I was born on a Thursday, Friday Eve. It is my favorite day of the week. All of these things are good to know. I was born, raised in New York. There is no experience like being born and raised in New York. And I don't mean New York like upstate New York. Upstate New York is closer to Ohio and like Pennsylvania in terms of vibes than New York, New York. Like, I'm sorry. And I have lived in upstate New York. I have spent plenty of time in upstate New York. It's not my thing. Sorry. Just it's not. So that said though, that in itself, being born and raised in New York, it adds a dynamic to life. There are just different things that you're exposed to that really make you neutral and numb in some regards, not in a bad way, to the ignorance that exists in other places because New York is such a melting pot. I love growing up in New York. Okay, so how did we get to here? Me, Columbia, doing a podcast about being Neo, the Being Neo podcast. How the hell do I have a podcast after my name? Really? Like, what's the deal? Who am I? Who am I? I'm that guy. Um, I am weird. I'm an odd person. I do not think I am like anybody else. Matter of fact, I know I am not like anybody else. And in times in my life, that has caused me to feel extremely awkward. It's caused me to feel out of place, like everybody, I think, on this earth at some point in time, for some odd reason, has felt. For me, though, I have always liked that. I've liked it, but it's been my own to know. Meaning, I've always known that I was different, and I've liked that. But I haven't wanted to share it. I haven't felt free or open to share that. It has been something that I've kept to myself. And the more and more I share it, the more and more it benefits me and the people I share it with. So here we are, me on a microphone in front of a camera, sharing all of this. Like, am I crazy? I feel crazy sometimes. But here we are. I smoked. We're going to talk. So, being weird and odd, I mentioned on episode 1 about the whole sit there and shut up and not having peace in that. And that basically led to me always trying to make people happy. So, and that was friends, strangers, family alike didn't matter. So, fast forward a little bit, I'm now 9 years old. My parents at the time are flying and traveling a lot to go to church conferences. My parents are very religious people. They go to these church conferences, and we live close to an airport. Obviously, we're in New York. Everyone's close to an airport. But this airport is flying private planes in and out all day. And when I say private planes, I mean like not jets. We're not talking like Lears. We're talking Cubs 182s, like nothing crazy. Cadets, okay? So, but I'm 9. I don't know anything different. And I'm thinking to myself, I want to be a pilot so that I can fly my parents to all these conferences so they can stop traveling so much. Because that would make them happy. That would make me happy. And that's what I should be, a pilot. It wasn't because I love flying. I had never been in an airplane. I had never been above a tree. Like, and the last time I was in a tree, I broke my arm in 3 spots. I have a plate and 2 pins in it now to still prove it. So like, what? Why? I've decided I wanted to become a pilot. I have no one. That's the reason. But like, your boy's a committed individual. I'm 9, okay? Committed. You know how committed? I graduated from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, the number 1 aeronautical university in the world. What 9-year-old, like, fuck? What 9-year-old decides, like, hey, I'm going to be a pilot and then graduates college from the number 1 aeronautical university in the world because at 9 they said they were going to be a pilot? The fuckery. Um, I'm not even joking though, people. Like, seriously, like, let that sink in for a second. You want to know who I am? That's me. It's not good. It's not like, that's being overly committed, man. As I say that to you, I feel like it's a reflection of how many other aspects of my life where I've been overly committed. Let me tell you how that story ended. September 11th. That's how that story ended. The industry drastically changed after September 11th. I graduated university with my lovely degrees after that. So that led me to Enterprise Rent a Car. Okay. Was my that was my first corporate job out of college. Enterprise Rent a Car. It was a great career I had at Enterprise. We're not going to go into like my career and those things right now. I just need you to know that at 9 years old, I decided I wanted to be a pilot. At 10 years old, I had my first private flight and joined the Young Eagles of America Club. At 14, I discovered and found out about Embry-Riddle. And from that moment on, I went to camp. It was a big deal. I was then entering in my 9th grade year of high school and decided that's where I was going to school. Every single thing I did in my life from my 9th grade year through graduating high school was to be accepted into Embry-Riddle. Um, Everything. So what does that mean? My life right now, I have multiple businesses. I love having multiple businesses. I would never only have one business ever again in life, ever. I love watching them grow. I love the different dynamics of the industries. I love the difference between selling products and having services. I love the difference between software and SAS and all of the other aspects of services and things that can be offered and subscribed to. And I just love all of it. Social media marketing, marketing in general, learning people's habits through what you're doing and how you're doing it. It's fascinating. It is sociology mixed with mathematics, mixed with just human behavior and everything. It's amazing. Psychology. It's all of the things. So, but the reason I got there is because my entire matriculation in school was marching band, jazz band, concert band, football, basketball, lacrosse, math club, honor roll, honor society, key club, Renaissance club. I feel like I'm missing something, people. Help me out. If anyone's watching this from high school, what else was I in? I was in everything. Everything. Like I was in everything. I was in flipping math club. Listen, don't tell anybody that. Okay? That's our little secret. I was in math club. So, and I'm doing all of these things because, my mom is like, listen, you want to go to this school? It's expensive. So you're going to have to get a scholarship. I'm like, okay. So you've got to diversify. You can't just be good in sports. You can't just be good with band. You have everything. You can't just be in those activities. You have to be part of you have to show them that you know community. I mean, all the things, people, all of the things. And so my life at that point was 4 a.m. I'm going to work out at the gym before school starts at 7:30. Shout out to my boy Ray McGee. Oh man, Chris and Muso. We used to we used to meet up in the morning, and we'd go to the deli. We'd get a bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup, or a sausage, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup. We'd eat that while we walked to the gym. Chris would meet us there because Chris lived on the other side of town, and we'd be at the gym early. I mean, like butt crack of dawn, 5 a.m., 5:30, and we'd work out. It was cool. It was early. Still not a fan. But in either case, I digress. So there was that, and then classes would let out like 2:30 ish, and then you had till 3 o'clock ish before you had to get ready for practice, and then you had practice until 5, and then you get home 30 ish, depending, and then you'd have homework. This is gonna take you 2 hours at least, right? So now you're at 7:30, maybe 8:30, depending on how much homework, and if you did any over the weekend, and then you've got to try to like do dinner and get a protein shake in. So it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and you go to sleep. And then you wake up at 4 to start it all over again. And I would definitely wake up at 4 because I used to watch man, so Kiana's Flex Appeal used to come on, and Flex Fitness used to come on with Sean Ray and Kevin Lebroni and those guys. And I used to watch those as I was motivating myself to get to the deli to get my sausage, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup, meet up with Ray and Chris and go lift. So that was like that was the theme. That was life throughout high school. And then, you had band practice and concerts and all these other different things like plugged in. But I just love that chaos. There is a certain amount of calm for me in the chaos. So I do all that. I go to college. I get out of college. Now, when I'm in college, the scholarship didn't exist, okay? Your boy, I used to sleep in my car before class because I literally would work overnight at Lowe's. I would drive a forklift and stock overnight from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. 6 a.m., I'd sleep in my car from 6 till 8 because I'd have an 8 o'clock class, 6 till 7:30 if I wanted coffee or breakfast. And then I go to class. Here's the thing: your boy was first off at Embry Riddle. Every single professor was from someplace else. I don't think I had one. I want to say I had to have one American professor, but most of them were from someplace else, and you had to understand them, and it was difficult. So I created this thing where I knew from the syllabus, the beginning of every semester, we could never get tested on anything that wasn't in the textbook. And for me, I'm all about fail fail proof plans. Like when I ask a question or I want to know something or I'm learning something, I need to figure out in every which way and form I can learn said thing. It's the reason why when people ask me about how I learned or how I know foreign languages, I'm like, immerse yourself in the language. That's it. And there's some apps. Pimsleur is fantastic. I should see if I have let me get an affiliate link for that. If I can get an affiliate link for Pimsleur, it'll be in the description. But Pimsleur is the app I use when I want to learn new languages. Italian is the language for 2024. More on that. Let's just take a little sidebar because this is the Being Neo podcast, and right now I'm going to be myself. So I grew up basically in Little Italy, New York, like the part of Long Island in New York where I grew up. It was like 98.999% Italian. So, I mean, I'm talking like family gatherings for us. We're doing baked ziti, chicken parm, eggplant parm, like all the things. So that's what I'm accustomed to. If someone were to ask me what I enjoy cooking the most, I can't say it's the thing I make the most delicious because your boy's a chef, legitimately. So I can't really say that one thing is better than another. But my Italian is oof, delicioso. All right, so going back down, as I think through the chaos of trying to balance all those things out and get to school and sleeping in the car and then the syllabus and remembering tests, I was like, okay, so I can sleep in class because as long as they can just test me from what's in the book, all I've got to do is study the book when I have time, which is not in class. And I can't understand what you're saying anyway. So I'm just going to study the book. And as long as I know what test has what chapters covered and I master the chapters, life is good. So what I would do is weekends and late nights, if I was not at Lowe's, I would take the chapters, I'd read them. I'd read the entire chapter word for word from the top to the end. If it was math, I would do every single problem, example, formulate every answer, and make sure that I could do it frontwards and backwards. Then I would write it all out. So if I read a paragraph and the paragraph had 3 points, I would put paragraph these are the points covered, and then I would basically like break it down in bullet points, main topics, points covered in each paragraph. I would do that for every page of every chapter. And those would then be my study notes, basically creating the cliff notes of said readings. But because I wrote it, because I read it several times, and then because I spoke it out loud as I regurgitated it all back in the paperwork and the bullet points, I owned the information. And I graduated with honors. um, this is who I am. Like I am always looking to figure out when my clients come to me with problems, they need to close their business because they think this, or they're trying to figure out if they should close their business, or they want to position their business to sell and they're trying to figure out whatever it is. For me, I look at it, but then I look at how do we make it foolproof? Like, how do we run the A/B testing so we can guarantee whether or not this is even a factor? Because it may not even be a factor. I love that. These are the things that are fun. This is sales for me. Oh man, sales is not about the convincing. It's about the reasons to say no. Let me say that again because there might be a salesperson listening to this and like, huh? What are you talking about? I don't. The Art of Persuasion. That's a book. Everyone's like, oh, go read The Art of Persuasion. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to persuade anyone to buy anything. When I think about selling something to someone, and listen to what I'm telling you right now, I am a sales fucking genie. Okay. I had mentioned it. I don't know if I mentioned it in a story, if I mentioned it on the last episode of the podcast, but I was newly married. I'm never gonna say which wife is which wife because I want to give them at least that level of anonymity. And I know I have friends that listen to the podcast and I don't want them to be able to identify too much, though this might be too identifying. In either case, this wife, I moved 3 times. We moved 3 states in the first 9 months of our marriage. Oh, it was fantastic. Talk about just tough on a marriage. And in that same period of time, I did $3 million in leases. The company I was working for at the time, I don't know if I have limitations on sharing that information, so I just won't share it because it's not important. The company I was working for at that time, they gave out crystals when you did $1 million because $1 million was rare. Like that was the pinnacle of like sales success if you could do 1 million in leases. Well, not only could I do that, I could whatever. We're not going to go into the details, but your boy did 3 million in 7 months. So enterprise rent a car. I said that's the first job I had out of college. You know how you have to like sell damage waiver or the insurance to take the cars. I'm trying to think of how many consecutive months I was above 95%. 95. Sales genie, okay? And it's not about persuasion. It's about the reasons to say no. Um, because if you could understand all of the reasons the customer, the client, the person wants to say no, then you know how to position your thing around it. You know how to object to the no before the no is ever even said, because that's how well you've learned the person that's in front of you, the client that's in front of you. And I mean that wholeheartedly. With I'm sorry, guys, we're going off on this tangent now. Like with women and dating, because sometimes dating sounds more sexy than sales. It's the same thing. Like, oh, I posted a reel. It was with Jennifer Aniston and oh man, it's a I don't know, I can't remember who it was now, but in either case, he goes, I bet you $20 I can kiss you without touching you. And Jennifer Aniston is like, huh? You can kiss me without touching you? How? And he looks at her and he's like, take the bet. And she's like, okay. So he kisses her. He gives her $20. And this says that's the best $20 ever spent. And she's looking at him like, oh, clever. And I'm thinking to myself, genius. Because he already took the objection, answered it with the solution, and then provided the only option to the said thing, which was the kiss that he wanted. And that's what sales is. That's what dating should be. If no, it's not what dating should be. Correction. It's what dating has become. Fuck, we're going there, people. I never know where these podcasts are going to go. That's why we start with facts. We live in such a fucking fake world. You know, I'm over here. I start this episode and I'm telling you, go buy a piece over everything shirt, whether it's positive or todo, or piece over everything, and rep your piece and guard your peace and wage war for your peace and be your authentic self. And I'm sitting here talking about all the rest of this, and I'm telling you, it's ingrained in me. It's just like it's pouring out of me. The need for everyone in this world to be more authentic. And I mean, look, people, I love social media. I'm taking these episodes, I'm chopping them up. You see, I'm on social media. You're watching this episode right now because you saw it somewhere on social media. I love social media, but people, we have become so manipulative to the core with social media. And I mean, listen, I'm not talking like you're a narcissist and you're trying to manipulate people. You're manipulating yourself with social media. Who you follow and who you don't follow, what you like and what you don't like, what you formulate an opinion on, from what you swipe on and swipe off of. All of this is a manipulation. It's a manipulation based on what's shown. It's a manipulation based on what you choose to see. Wow. I say all the time, and I really do say this all the time, it blows my mind how in 2024, we could have more access to information than ever before. You have the internet. Look, I'm in Medellin, Colombia right now, and I don't know where in the world you're watching this podcast from or listening to this podcast from. And I mean, I have followers from all over the world. So, thinking to when I was in school in New York, during the period of time of after 5 o'clock when practice was done and getting my homework done, the time at the library, the little bit of window, that I could go to King Cullen with Eric Harder, who worked at the bakery and would give me the most amazing brownies and cake slices and Italian cookies. Shout out to Eric Harder. Thank you, brother. I will forever be grateful for those sweets. They formulated a path in my life. I promise you. 350 effing pounds. No. But I always say then I'd have to go get microfiche and read microfilms in the library for information. I remember learning to tie a tie. My dad took me to the library and I picked up a paperback book and read and followed the instructions, the drawn instructions and pictures on how to tie a tie. That's how I learned. Now we have the World Wide Web. We have artificial intelligence creating images that look like crystal clear, as if taken with the most impressive camera. And yet, we are closing and blinding ourselves to things that are clear and in our face. The entire world was forced into taking vaccinations for a pandemic with very little information. That shit would have never fucking happened in 1985. I'm telling you this shit. That fuckery would never have happened in 1985. Nobody in first off, you couldn't even get that kind of information to everybody around the world that fast. I mean, you could, but you couldn't. You couldn't. And so, yeah, that wouldn't happen. But I told you we talk politics and religion and all sorts of shit on the podcast. So I'm sitting here thinking about all of this, and I'm just like, we're willfully ignorant. We're choosing what we don't want to see, which is virtually taking our heads and sticking it in the sand. But then when it comes to dating, we're doing the same thing. Because, fuck, the same breath of me sitting here telling you I told this girl, I sent her a message yesterday, the day before, about missing smoking and talking with her, which I genuinely do. And if someone were to ask me, do I want to get back with her? Fuck no. The link will be in the description, or just click the bit.ly link and then go to the YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, um, watch the 2022 year in review, travel year in review, because I tell the story of that relationship. Fuck no, I would never date her again. But I feel like I lost my virginity to her because she's the first woman I was ever 100% open, authentic, transparent, and vulnerable with to the core of myself. And shit, man, she'll always have that piece of me. Um, I never knew I could be that type of person until her. So, shit. So, yeah, so I sent her this message, but fuck no, I'll never date her again. And in going through this and understanding the will for ignorance and then the manipulation, I'm telling you, I was with this woman in this relationship, telling myself, oh, I mean, she's just getting dick pics on Snapchat and she's sending nudes to these people. That's okay. It's just a thing. Like, it's all good. This is a true story. We're in the penthouse apartment, and I have a barber bag. I cut hair. It was one of the 9,000 jobs I had throughout college to get through and pay for school. I cut hair. I'm good. I am. I'm a New Yorker. I'm good. So I cut hair. Shout out to all of my college roommates that ever got a haircut, which is every single one of my college roommates. But man, it's just so crazy to me. Everything comes full circle, but just life in general. So I'm going through this story thinking about her. I almost said her name and I was like, whoa, hey, come on now. I can't do that. But thinking about the dynamics of that relationship and how many times I convinced myself that it was okay. Like just the different things that she was doing was okay. How diminished my own value was as I continued to feel pain and tried to avoid feeling said pain with acceptance. And I mean, if that's not a peace exchange, if that's not giving my peace away, I mean, what is in everything? Like, wow. So sorry. It's I'm telling you guys, this for me is, I hope it inspires you, but it connects for me too. Like it allows me to process some of these things with you right here, right now. Like this is happening. So she in my this barber bag I've literally, the barber bag was in college is okay, the last time I used this barber bag. Other than college, randomly I'll go in it for like cutting shears, like hair shears, like to like level out my ex-wife's hair or something. Like I don't use this bag. So we're in 20, what year is this? 2021, we'll say. Let's just say it's 2021. Fuck it. Doesn't matter. Let's say it's 2020. I got out of college in 2004. Okay. So this was 16 years. So 16 years later, she 16 years later, she finds pictures of me spring breaking. Now you can clearly see in the pictures that I'm a child. Okay. I'm 18 years old. And I'm living my Girls Gone Wild, Daytona Beach, Florida, spring break life. Okay, I'm a bouncer in a nightclub that gives you a hotel room while you're bouncing in the nightclub during spring break, and it's Daytona Beach, Florida. So spring break lasts from the first week until the last week of the month. So I'm having a good time. Okay, and she finds these pictures, which, listen, the last time I had been married twice, been married and divorced twice by the time these the time these fucking pictures were found. I had been married and divorced twice. Neither of my ex-wives found these pictures, but this bitch did. I can't make this stuff up, people. The more I think about this and remember how pissed, I mean, this fight was monumental. We're in the penthouse. The, I mean, listen, I don't want to say certain things because I don't want to connect dots for people that may know who I'm talking about. Um, this is not what this podcast is. I'm not like this is. We're not on TMZ. I'm not like sharing non-celebrity secrets because these people are not celebrities. But the long story short is she flipped the fuck out on these pictures that I didn't even know existed. Like they had clearly left my mind, and she didn't tell me when she found them. Okay. She's arguing with me about something completely different, and she's like, you know what? You know what? I don't think it started from Snapchat though. It was something else. I was just like the way. I remember. Oh, episode 2, y'all. Meet the host. This is me. So look, we're in this penthouse, and nothing in this fucking penthouse works the way it's supposed to. Okay, absolutely fucking nothing. Um, I love the experience. I really did, but it was like too high tech for its own good. Like like the blinds go up and down automatically, but like this one is not going up automatically at the same speed as the other one, but they're on the same rotor. So now it's uneven at the top, but it's done. Or like the lights are flickering on and off because they're on a timer and they're coming on, but they're not supposed to at this time. And it's like just stupid shit with like the technology aspect of this high ass tech penthouse. So I'm arguing because she is looking like a fucking street slut while the maintenance men are coming over. And I'm like, this isn't MTV Cribs or whatever reality show that you're watching. This is my life, my house. You're my girl. Like, this is not a representation of how I want to be represented to the maintenance men that are coming into our house. Like, go put some fucking clothes on. Like, we're not at the, like, women always make this excuse. Or at least I've always heard this excuse made several times. It doesn't matter how I should be able to dress however I want to dress. Yes, this is true. Just not dating me. You can absolutely dress however you want to dress. You can, absolutely. but not dating me. That's not how I am. And I will say, I am I'm that has changed drastically throughout my life. Um, seriously, really has. But I still, I'm like, I want there's, sorry, people, I'm old school, man. And some of you are like, well, what does that mean? You're old school. It means that if the maintenance men are coming over and you're wearing my A shirt, I was gonna say wife beater, y'all. I don't want anyone to get offended, but that's what I call them. I call A shirts wife beaters. If I could show you a wife beater, but it doesn't really matter. A wife beater, like a typical A tank top that's white and ribbed and see through. You need to have a bra on. I don't care if you feel like you're part of the itty bitty titty committee. Like, put on a damn bra, because the maintenance men, for first fuck's sakes, the maintenance men have access to your apartment. So if I'm not home, just from a security level, do you really think maybe this motherfucker is an ex-rapist or has always wanted to rape, and now he's watching your ass prance around in almost no clothes that he has access to because he's the fucking maintenance man, and you're making it look like you want to get fucked? And some of you women may be listening to this right now and saying, it doesn't matter what we want, no means no. It doesn't matter what we wear, no means no. And I get that. I get that. But we still live in a real fucking world. Like, when the world gets to that point where nipples don't turn teenage boys' dicks hard, then you can walk around and free the nipple. It's like, I don't know what else to say about this. Like, you want to free the nipple, go ahead. I'm not going to be mad at it. I don't have any kids. But how are you going to explain to all the other mothers out there that don't want their teenage boys and preteen boys looking at your bare breasts? I don't know. It's still very sexualized for them. It's still very sexualized for me, and I'm 41. Show me your tits. Oh, and now, full circle, the pictures from spring break. I mean, it was just like basically a bunch of girls, like girls going wild, like all beads, all topless. It was all topless all the time. And so she's pissed with these pictures, lost her shit, huge argument. But it started because I'm talking about how she's presenting herself, and her response to that is, well, you have these pictures. I mean, she's a narcissist, y'all, so there's that. But tell me how one has anything to do with the other. Comment. This is me looking into the camera. If you're just listening to this, this is my serious voice. Please comment. What would you do? How would you have handled this situation? Where are you at on this? Are you team? I really, this is curiosity killed a cat and I'm ready to die. I want to know from you. Are you the type that would be okay with your woman wearing whatever she wants, as scandally dressed as she'd like, around, say, maintenance in your apartment community? Or are you the type that feels it's disrespectful to dress inappropriately? And I shouldn't say inappropriately, because inappropriately is my subjective perspective. With very little clothing around mixed company. That's a better way to clean it up. What say you? What's your opinion? And I mean, listen, people, I'm open. I'd like to hear what you say. Now, here's the thing where people are going to lose their mind. Look, people, I've now been in several open relationships where I could share my partner sexually with someone else. And so some of you are probably like, wait, you want your girl to wear a bra around maintenance men, but you would share your partner with someone sexually? Yep, yeah, that's what I said. Because it's a respect thing. Both aspects, it's a respect thing. So like, sharing my partner, if my girl's having sex with other people, and that's our relationship, I'm not saying it's my preference. That's not my point. If that's the relationship, because I have been in several open relationships, then I'm cool with that. But we have to set boundaries, we have to communicate, and then we have to respect those boundaries and the communications and things we set forth. It's respect. If I'm telling you I feel uncomfortable with you wearing what I feel is minimal clothing around who could be a fucking sex offender for all I know in our home, to not incite a crime of opportunity, a crime of passion, a crime of whatever people want to fucking label it. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you that that's a lack of respect for me. It's a lack of respect for a relationship. It's a lack of respect of how long is the maintenance man gonna be here? Is that really difficult? Like, is that really something that we have to argue about or fight about? Like, what is the protest? Are we doing a free the nipple protest in our home? Is that what that means? Is that where we're at? So I digress. That relationship I gave away. Oh my goodness, talk about giving away my peace. So I say all of that to say the dating manipulations. I was going on a date the other day. Dating here for me in Colombia it's been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare because the culture, especially here in Medellin, the culture of women and dating foreigners is a little bit different than some of the areas, and a lot of bit different than dating women from like pueblitos or like the little towns. Um, so the women here in Medellin are basically looking to have several foreigner boyfriends and a local Colombian boyfriend. I'm not even joking. Um, or some way, shape, or form of that. But they're all like just trying to get in the relationship for money from a foreigner. And I live here. Like, yeah, I'm a foreigner. I make money out of the country, but I live here. So like, no, I'm not down for that. Something real happens, like cool. But then they play the game. Like you don't know if it's real or not until you're ready to sign the documents or in your apartment. Come to find out this person can't be on the apartment with you. Like that's another story for another episode. Remind me to tell you. I promise you'll learn. You'll hear that story. But so this date for me, one of the things this year guarding my peace, you know, I expressed to this particular female, I was like, hey, I feel like you could be one of these females that are just kind of interested in, fancy food places. And you're like, yes, let's go out because you want me to take you to dinner. And if that's the deal, like say that. Because sometimes I just want to go to dinner. And I'm cool with just good, sexy company. Like I'm okay with that. But if you're like acting like you're trying to get to know me and I tell you, hey, I want to go eat here, and you're like, oh, but I want to eat here. And then I'm like, okay, well, if you want, we can cancel the date and go another time because this is where I want to go tonight. And your response to that is, okay, we could just change it for another time. That lets me know that you didn't really care about spending time with me. You just wanted to go to a fancy place to eat, a place that you consider fancy. So we didn't go on that date. But my point in saying all that is like, even in that case, like the manipulation aspect of how dating happens, of how the interactions of people in general right now in 2024 is just sad. No one is being authentic. I'm being authentic right now. Here. This is it. You got me. I promise you, every time I get on here, when I be on the mic, I am so, guys, I love the intro. I have to tell you, I cannot monetize any of these videos or the podcast directly because of it, but I didn't care because that intro, again, so Rakim is from Uniondale, New York, by the way. Is he from Uniondale? I may be lying to you. He may be from Hempstead. Oh, you guys are gonna make me look this up. So now I've got to look it up. We've got to cut this episode short. But and when I say short, I mean like it's an hour already. So I feel like I can't keep going on. Where is Rakim from? I hope it doesn't just say New York because that would be a waste. Wine Dance? No way. So he's from Wine Dance. It's Long Island. It's Nassau County. So in either case, my point is me, New York, Rakim, International, when I had to, it was perfect. Guys, I really appreciate you getting on here, listening to me ramble and unpack things and go through things. The reality is that peace over everything is real, and I keep learning in different aspects, in different ways, in the different conversations I'm having with friends and strangers, and these conversations with you guys, just in how many areas I have forfeited my peace, given it away, lost it, in how many different ways that I could have fought and waged war to have it and gave up. Like, there's just so many different aspects. This world would be less ignorant. We would be stronger. We would be more united. We would be more at peace if everyone would take a moment to have the kind of uncomfortable conversation and say, I am not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with this task, this job, what you said, what you didn't say, what you're not saying, what you're not doing, what you are doing, what you're wearing, what you're not wearing, how you're feeling, what you're not expressing, what you're holding back, what you are saying that you shouldn't say. All of the things, people, that rob peace. I didn't stay up at damn near now it's 4 o'clock in the morning to have this conversation because this is not important to me. You, the listener, the viewer, this person connected to this random ass podcast that you clicked onto and then listened to me ramble for an hour, you being more at peace, it's a big deal for me. So click in, tap in, subscribe, bell for notifications. But more importantly, as I will say every episode, if this episode, I don't know, maybe it was just entertaining, maybe it has you thinking a little bit. Hopefully, when you stop listening to this, you're going to be pondering some of the things I've said, shared, or at least similar stories, aspects, or things that you can reflect on in your journey of life at this point. And share it with somebody. I want Alicia Keys on the podcast, but it's not going to happen if like we can't share it and get enough people to view this so that I can say, hey, this will be good for you, Alicia. This is going to be good for me too. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. Until the next episode, episode 3. Peace.